Well, hi, Lisa. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you're busy over in Sydney, and we have a lot ahead of us. I checked this morning at our sales team meetings, and all the hands went up when I said, "Who knows Lisa Novak?" So you're famous over here, Lisa, and obviously famous in Australia.
Oh, I love to hear that. We were just having a little bit of a chat off air about my short stint over in Auckland. It's a great place. I can't wait to get back.
Yeah, definitely come back. Get 24 hours up your sleeve and we'll show you Waiheke Island. We'll do around the Sky Sea. And are you scared of heights? We can jump off the tower.
No, I live on level 75 of an apartment block. Definitely not scared of heights.
Well, so next time we come over, let's jump off the tower. And then when you go home, you can tell your husband, look, we need to get out of here. We're safe. We can go straight out the window.
Yeah, perfect.
And for everybody joining us, if anybody hasn't heard of Lisa, Lisa has been recognised in the top 50 women in real estate in Australia, top 100 agents in Australia. And I think when you started 2019 as the most innovative woman in real estate. And now, Lisa, you're selling on the Northern Beaches in Sydney?
Correct, I do, yeah. So I've had a short little stint in sales, about 4.5 years. But yeah, absolutely love it. And yes, listing and selling property on the Northern Beaches in Sydney. So right across the Northern Beaches, it's quite a large catchment actually.
And what sort of price range? That's going to mean you're in quite a wide price range?
Yes, I do. So ordinarily, I mean, I don't know how it works for you guys over there in New Zealand, but ordinarily an agent will usually sell in their own farming area and in a particular price bracket. But I'm fortunate, I get to sell everything from one-bedroom apartments all the way up to multi-million-dollar houses and everything in the middle. And as I said, in quite a large catchment. So it's great. Love it.
How does your, I guess, service to the vendor, your way of approaching the property change from multi-million-dollar property, substantial, back down to the one bedding?
It doesn't change at all. And I think, look, I actually think that that's a really good question, Wayne. And I think there's a good message in that, is that just treat everyone the same, treat everyone equally, and just treat people like human beings. So, whether I'm, and funnily enough, I literally yesterday listed a little one-bedroom apartment and I listed a multi-million-dollar property. My one-bedroom apartment vendor is going to get exactly the same amount of love and attention that my multi-million-dollar vendor will. There won't be, the treatment will be the same. I always say, you've got to love all the children equally.
And is it, that's interesting, is it that it doesn't matter the property, it's the vendor that you're looking after, and people are people. I guess you're going to love and enjoy the vendor or be challenged by them just as much on the one bedding as the multi-million-dollar one.
Oh, absolutely. Some of these smaller transactions can be just as complicated. Just because a property has a more expensive price tag doesn't mean, as I said, they should be getting 5-star service and the one-bedroom apartment should be getting 2-star service. These are all clients, and as I said, they'll get exactly the same level of attention. In fact, just before I came on here, I was having a meeting with my assistant, and we were going through some of the photos that had come through for those properties. And I'm actually getting my photographer to go back and reshoot for the one-bedroom apartment because I wasn't overly happy with some of the photos. It's got to be 10 out of 10, every property.
Yeah, love it. You mentioned your assistant. Can I ask for the people listening and watching us, how big's your personal team? How many sales are you doing per annum?
So obviously the market's been very, very tricky, and I know that's worldwide. So, but I'm still ranking as the #1 agent in my area. So Northern Beaches is made up of about 550 real estate agents. I'm still holding that top spot, which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm super proud of that after 4.5 years. But my core area is made up of about 200 odd agents, and I'm holding the top spot there as well. And I took that out after just 2 years of being in sales.
How did you do that? How did you accelerate? And I know there's a backstory there, but how did you accelerate from day one to hitting number one within 2 years, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. So it was, look, I was involved in a lot of the admin and marketing in our business for many, many years, but I'd always wanted to get into real estate sales. But it allowed me to observe a lot, sitting on the sidelines, looking in, going, if I ever came into sales, I'm really going to do things differently. And some of those things were social media. You know, it was this great tool that we all have at our disposal. And it was just so underutilized, particularly, you know, you rewind back 4.5 years. These days, a lot of agents are using it, still not to its full capabilities. But, you know, I thought I'm just going to get my stock out onto social media and see if I can sell it there first and give the buyers a shoe-in on buying property right off social media before we launch it out to maybe auction. So that was one thing. And then educating my tribe, which I've really built over time on my social media, just really educating them about the market. I do a huge amount of stuff right across all of my social media channels on how do you buy a property? What's the market really doing at the moment? Are we really at the bottom of the market? And just these little nuggets that I'm constantly feeding out to my social media. And that really turned into something a lot bigger than I ever envisaged it would.
And was there a lag in that? Did you have to do the work and then see the results? And while you were doing the work, did you go, I hope this is working? Is it going to pop out?
Yeah. So my very first time I decided I was going to do one of these raw videos, like a raw authentic video, and get it up to my Facebook page, was one of my first listings. And this particular vendor didn't have any money for marketing at all. And he wouldn't take any money off me for marketing either. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a quick little raw video. I'm going to throw it out to my Facebook page. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? And I got a phone call about 5 minutes later from a real estate agent. And she called me and said, I just saw your video on Facebook. And I was like, you did? She goes, yeah, it's shocking. You need to just take it down. It's embarrassing. And this is not at all the way we real estate. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I've just completely embarrassed myself. And I went to remove the video and I thought to myself, you know what? This actually is not about me, and it's actually nothing to do with the industry. Here's a vendor who's saying, help, I need you to sell my property. And I ended up selling that property within 24 hours for an absolute rock star price. And you know what, Wayne, it was at that moment I thought, here we go. There's something here. I'm onto something. There is this whole sector just missing in our industry where we can help vendors by offering them maybe free marketing out onto this thing called social media where all the eyeballs are. And then I thought, how wonderful for these buyers, because they get the opportunity to see and buy property first before it launches out to the big real estate portals. So I kept going and I pushed through that noise. And you know, as I said, there was a lot of noise at the time, trust me. But I pushed through all of that.
Because it just shows how precious we are and how fragile we could be. I think if that happened to the majority would fold and go, thank God somebody told me I was no good at that. I'll never make that again. But then you step back and say, no, look, I'll actually fresh eyes, and you analyse it and say, no, nonsense. There's a better way of doing it. Now we roll forward here. People are, I'll see social media. I get the impression social media for an agent is more about them. I get the impression that the leading edge of it today, excluding yourself, is they'll drop a very short teaser, which is just visual, but it tells you nothing about the property, and that we feel that we are held back waiting for the major portals before we can release. So almost like we would be in trouble. I think that's how most agents would feel. Now, you're the opposite of that, aren't you? You're like, you're going to get out there first and portals later.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you know, I just want to point out, though, the idea is never, ever to sell the property cheaply. You know, this has been a big, big thing where agents have said, oh, yeah, but she puts it onto her social media and she sells it cheaply. Did the market really get tested? That is never the idea. You know, a great agent will always guide you through the best way forward. I mean, at the moment, I don't know how it is over there in New Zealand, but here in Sydney and in most parts of Australia, stock levels are actually really low at the moment. And we're seeing a lot of buyers back in the market. So why would I not, as a real estate agent, say to my vendors, of course we're going to do social media. Of course I'm going to go to your database. But given the fact that there's not a lot of stock on the market, I really think we should be getting you out to the real estate portals as well.
Yep. So how do you balance that challenge? Because if I think about sort of 20 years in real estate for myself, we try to hold everything back and launch on everything and launch in the print at the same time that we went live, so that if a buyer arrived, hopefully the pool of buyers arrived. So how do you sort of manage that between the portal and getting out early with something? And I'll ask later about when you say raw, because I think that's a good point also. So getting out raw early as opposed to the launch.
So social media is such a good question. Social media is really instant media, isn't it? So I've got an agreement and I've got a contract of sale. I've got the green light that I'm allowed to represent the property. So these things that we're filming on now, I'm filming off my iPhone. That is literally my best friend. This allows me to be a news reporter, really, doesn't it? Because it's in my hand all the time. I will be going straight away this afternoon down to a property that I've just listed. The photographer's coming through tomorrow morning, but I can get it out to the world today, this afternoon, because I will film it and I'll go live straight away onto my social media. And any of my tribe that's following me there, they're going to get to see and have the opportunity to buy it first. That's it. So all they've got to do is just pay great money and they can take it off the market before we launch it out to auction. So then we look at, what does perfect look like? So that's the non-perfect version, but I can get it out instantly. Yep. The perfect version is my photographer's going down there tomorrow at 9 a.m. He's going to shoot and take the photos. I will get those back, if I'm lucky, tomorrow afternoon, provided I don't need any other edits to the photo. And there goes another at least 24 to 36 hours until it's out on those real estate portals. So perfect is slow.
Lisa, I reckon we'll be the same here. We know that the minute we list, there's a lot of admin to do, and then when you go for perfect, and we always are, we get photos. I still see the guys printing and photos all over a table selecting their shots. Vendors sitting at home thinking, guys, I listed with you, days ago and nothing's gone live. But you're coming to the market literally like that. I guess you walk out with, we call it the listing authority, the green light. You're walking out with that, and raw, you can get to the market instantly, yeah?
Straight away. And people don't care about perfect. They really don't. They care about speed of service. This is how we live our lives these days. You guys have got Uber. You've got Uber over there? Okay. How do you order an Uber? You go onto your app. You go, okay, I've got to be at a meeting. Oh, I can get the $5 Uber that will be here in 20 minutes, or I can get the $8 Uber and he'll be here in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
People want speed of service. We order food these days. Uber Eats. You go online, you go, I really feel like Thai food. And you get online, you go, actually, pizza can be here in 5 minutes. I'll get pizza. So we're used to the speed of service. And if you have a look at the way we look at, we view social media these days, there's not much on there that's perfect. It's all raw content on there. So we're very used to viewing things these days that way.
Beautiful. So I created two columns, and one is vendor, where you go, speed of service has high value to them. And then if we go buyer, speed of service has high value, but then raw does also, because real estate agents are real estate agents. And if I tell you, if I put puffery around describing the property, they go, oh, I bet you it isn't. But you're doing raw and real. And that's probably where a lot of agents are holding back. They're waiting for the perfect. So Tell me more about that raw and real and the impact of that and how people respond to it.
Beautifully. So if you actually listen, so there's lots to this answer. So first of all, it's about listening to what the needs of your vendor is. Often I'll be sitting in a listing presentation, and I don't know how your industry is over there, but here the industry is very good at saying, there's the one size fits all category. So we're going to take your professional photos. We're going to get you out to do a 4-week auction campaign. And the vendor's sitting there going, I'm not really ready for all of this. I don't even know if I'm going to get the price I want to make me want to move. The market's all over the place at the moment. So I'm not certain I want to spend $10,000 on marketing if I'm not going to get the price I want. All right. So already I'm going, awesome. I've got this pre-market option for you. And I'm not going to ask you for any money at all for marketing. I call it my plan A. And so first of all, I'll just use my iPhone and I'll go out and take some great raw, authentic content on that for you. I'm going to get you out to my social media channels and I get a lot of eyeballs there. And then, of course, I'm going to get you out to my database as well. So I call that my plan A. It's a dip your toes in and test the market strategy. Okay, now we can run that for a year if we want to, but I've done so many transactions this way that I know after about a week or two, it loses its dazzle.
Yeah.
It's gone out to database and all the people that are following on my socials got to see it there. So if we don't have the knock your socks off offer there, it's really simple. We just take some vendor paid money and we go straight to the portals if that's what they want. If that's what they want. Now, the other day, I had a property that we started off with my plan A. We went out to my social media and to my database, and I had so many buyers come through and I had multiple offers coming in. I actually went back to my vendor and said, guys, I know I can make you more money if I get you onto the real estate portals. I know I can. Give me $3,000. I'm going to get you onto, we call it realestate.com here. And I know I'm going to make you more money. And I did, another $55,000. So a great agent will guide that vendor through to make sure we get the perfect outcome for them.
I love it. And then the tribe, the question, how do you generate tribe? Now, I feel you answered this earlier, but if we go back to that, because people will be thinking now, they can probably do that. They can, Facebook Live and pretty raw out there. Couple of changes of shoes as they go through, let's say, and then they will find their tribe. How do you generate the tribe?
You give the people a reason to follow you. So that's a really important one. Right at the beginning of our talk, you said to me something about, sometimes people would just put photos on their social media and that's it. They go, yep, we've done social media, tick. That is not social media. How are you interacting with your audience to make sure you are giving them a reason to follow you? So for me, anyone who follows my socials gets the opportunity to see and buy property first. All right. So that's giving them a reason to follow me. But what I didn't realize with my socials when I started doing this 4.5 years ago was that it was going to be this just juggernaut of an appraisal generator. So 95% of my appraisals now are generated as a direct result of my social media.
All the agencies prick up, and sort of they drift it off, and then they go, "Oh, really?" Because that's what we're after. Isn't it? We want to have the buyers and the buyer pool sitting there, but if we can generate that, so you've educated your clients, and your clients go, "Hey, Lisa, you're great. Come and do something." Tell me, do you tease them a little bit also with a very, we call it a CMA, an appraisal? Do you tease them with a quick CMA followed by a longer one?
Yeah, so again, it depends what they want. These days, a lot of people just don't want to do face-to-face. We used to do the 2-touch appraisal. You'd go through for 5 minutes and then you'd get back to the office, you'd put together your pricing and you'd want to meet face-to-face again. Again, it's just that speed of service. People go, oh, no, I don't want to, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do another meeting. Depending on what the needs of that vendor is, I love to get face-to-face with them. But if I can't, I will. Sometimes I can just do, a quick sight unseen price update for them, proposal for them, and just shoot it off to them via email or WhatsApp. And obviously I need to get through the property before I list it. But it just depends on what their needs are. I also do a 3-minute SMS appraisal.
What's about that?
This is a cracker. For any agent that is watching, that is struggling to get appraisals, this is literally the Da Vinci Code for you guys. I promote it, that in just 3 minutes, I can appraise your property, SMS your mobile number your address through to my mobile number. So all of a sudden, I've got your name, I've got your mobile number, and I've got your address. I've got 3 very vital pieces of information. I then plug that in. I don't know if you guys do you have RP data there?
Yeah, we've got some RPNG and there's our databases and our portals are pretty much a mirror of each other. Separate companies, but a mirror.
But where do you plug in, so we call it Core Logic RP data, where you plug in an address?
Exactly the same.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So I then grab their address, I plug it into RP data, and there's a little button on there that no one knows about, and it says generate a valuation report. And it takes about 30 seconds, if that. I generate the report and I text it straight back to you. 3-minute SMS appraisal. And then I follow it up with a little text message that says, "Dear Wayne, thank you so much for allowing me to submit this appraisal. Please note it is sight unseen. If you would like something a little bit more detailed, just respond back yes, and I can quickly walk through your property in 5 minutes."
Wow, love it. Look at the gold there. So gold going to market is going raw, Facebook Live. That's plan A. You can go to plan B if you need it. Educating, creating the tribe in there, and the following is they know if they're in the market, they're going to see something early with you. Still going to have to compete for it and
100%.
Make it out of the market. But also you're dropping content in, whether it's community or market, so that people in the meantime are hanging with you. And then we go to the lead generation, which is that little teaser saying, "Hey, in 3 minutes I can do this." And things are so quick right now, aren't they?
They are.
If we have to wait for anything, we go, "No, I'm not interested." We just won't.
You won't do it. You won't do it. You'll move on to the next thing. And guys, if you can't do this in 3 minutes, don't. Do it in 10, do it in 60. That's fine. But don't. The worst thing that you can do is overpromise, underdeliver, right? So you won't get off to a great start there.
Wonderful. And that's creating, so you're creating this beautiful pipeline of future vendors. Some will come to market now, some will simply go into your A, Bs and Cs, and that's the business being built going forward, yeah?
Absolutely. And it's so easy to promote because you can do, even if you don't have a social media presence, you can make up little tiles to put onto your social media, but you can put it on the bottom of your email signature, on a signboard, drop it on DL cards. It's been enormously successful for our business.
Amazing. Now, I'm conscious of time. I know you've got something stacked up behind here. Can I ask a couple of really quick questions?
You may.
Conventional prospecting, DLEs, door knocks, or working through your farm area, the geographical area, do you do that on the ground?
We do it all. And when I say we, I have a team. I didn't answer that question properly a little while ago. So there's myself. I've got Michael, my colleague, and Michael pretty much shadows me just for a million reasons because we do run a lot of listings all at once. At the moment, I'm carrying about 20 listings. So that's about average for me. So Michael does shadow me. I do all the vendor management and deal with all the negotiations as well. And then I've got 2 assistants and they do just absolutely everything. So, we can keep all the wheels turning. But there's an enormous amount of prospecting. You've got to be doing it all the time. As boring as it sounds, you do. But find the thing that resonates with you.
And
That's
I
key.
mentioned WhatsApp communication to vendors. What's the style of it? Do you use WhatsApp groups for vendors? What do you think is the best right now?
So WhatsApp, you know, that's enormous for me. I have a WhatsApp group for every single listing. My vendors will most of the time hear from me every day. So I'll report something to them just with a quick little voice record sometimes, or, you know, I'll show them we had really great group numbers at another property, and what do we need to do to try and get those sorts of group numbers through their property. But just holding their hand through that process. But WhatsApp is a huge part of my vendor management. Some vendors just love to be called, some never want to be called. So you just got to read the play there.
Interestingly, so I know we're going to wrap up in a second. You triggered something there. I'm watching a WhatsApp group with vendors sitting inside, and the communication. The communication is perfect, but nothing in there is raw. And I just thought just then, what if that team just spoke to the camera and recorded and sent it straight through to the vendor and did those raw updates internally also within that vendor group?
100%. They're absolutely. Video is huge these days. I mean, look at how we're communicating. You know, we're so used to it as well. But it's an amazing tool. I mean, I was at a property that I'm just getting prepped for market yesterday, and the cleaners were there. We had the commercial cleaners there. The vendors don't live locally. I took a video of them scrubbing the oven and cleaning the windows and saying, guys, everything's upside down now, but this is going to be absolutely perfect for market. They love that. They love it.
Amazing. Lisa, thanks for your time. It's gone so fast. We've covered so much. I'd love to get back together again and do this. And thank you for everything you've shared with us. Also, when you come to Auckland, I know you've got a South Island gig coming up, but if you come through Auckland, let us know. We can jump off the tower. You can do some more Italian dining. Hopefully we've got you on time for your next...
Perfect. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.